Hey guys, what's up? Welcome. So here's what I'm working on right now, a little guidance track. Recorded some drums and the bass and the guitar for the band, and we can use that as a springboard to kind of like develop the ideas and practice the vocals, and before we then record everything with the proper instruments and not me playing everything. But this is sort of the idea of what we got working on here. Yeah, let's kick it off. Yep. Ain't it funky now, man? Ain't it funky now? Ain't it funky? I messed up here, had to do it all over again. Yeah. Yeah. Hit me now. Hit me now. Hit me now. Ain't it funky now? Ain't it funky now? Ain't it funky now? Yeah. Well, anyways. Okay, guys. So, all right. So this is pretty simple. So half of it is done in Maschine, I should say, arrangement-wise, especially the drums. And I have another drum set there, which I ended up not using. And so this is my Abbey Road 60s drummer, which I really like. Here's our organ, which I actually play from here. So this is not dialed in at the moment, but this is where I play the organ. It's got a guitar layout, and then you can play a little bit here too. But this is much easier since this is chromatic. So, you know, C to C, C sharp, D, E flat, and so forth. So you can play anything. You can play on a keyboard, but you know, if you do your chords here, your organ chords, you can do it just like on the guitar. It's a little bit easier for me, although I do play a keyboard. Not much going on on the master side. Just a little bit of a compressor and a limiter, so it gets a bit louder. And I recorded the guitar directly from here. Except for compression and delay, I didn't really add anything. So what we're adding here is EQ, a little bit of EQ, compressor. Everything else was already there. And let's see what else. Here on the rhythm guitar, I'm doing a compressor on the pedal board, and the pedal board is nothing but a little bit of a reverb. So that's about it. That's about it. Keeping it simple. I guess we got the vintage organ here. That's the vintage organ. It's pretty cool. Native Instruments vintage organ. I think it is part of a it's a Contact factory selections. I believe that is a freebie. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a pretty cool, you know, it's a pretty cool organ. With different, you know, different setups and mixing sections. I drove the amp a little bit harder. I increased the drive just by a bit. I think it's pretty standard. The rest on the drum kit. Let me see if I can pull that up for you. The Abbey Road kit. The nice thing with those drummers is that you have a dedicated mixer that's sort of old school, and you can place the overhead mics and the room mics and so forth. And I think it just worked a little bit on the kick. That's about it. And then the most amount of work was probably getting the swing right, so that the volume for each groove is, for each, you know, hit is right. So it kind of has that flow. Let me see if in the beginning you can hear that a bit. I'll play that back for you. Kill that. See how it kind of swings a bit, just. And then when that merges there with the bass line. So those two, the melody of the bass and the drums, they need to kind of form like a unison. They need to basically make you dance. That's my thing. And then the guitar kind of like becomes a little bit of, you know, scratches on top a little bit, you know, but also has to work on that rhythm. You're gonna kill the organ here. So if you listen to So, you know, the rhythm guitar track, I like him crunchy and pretty raw, not too much compression on there. They need to sound as kind of like as vintage as possible and as not perfect as possible. So I've just gotten a message here. I'm going to jump off. But hey, thanks for tuning in. And this is a little bit a behind the scenes look, working with Maschine Studio, working with the Mighty Innovation Launchpad Pro on a MacBook Pro, with a vintage telephone in the back in case you know, the Grammys are calling, and pretty much basic plugins at this point. Yeah, and the trusted 11 rack. I also do have an Apollo, but not here. And there are some very good sounds in the Avid 11 rack. Not everything's great in there, but you can make do. You only need, in my book, only 5 to 6 very good sounds, even if the other 45 are not as great. That's about it. And then we have some Sennheiser HD 650 with a 2 preamp that's right behind here, to get a good, you know, second opinion already. And behind me is the whole instrument collection. Thanks for tuning in.